11 o'clock, three-man front. Nathan King from Auburn. In just a moment. It's Reaction Monday here on the show, 800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450. We'll get back to your phone calls and your texts after our visit with Nathan. How about a visit from our friends at Stark Exterminators? Fall is approaching, but the warm weather's still here. What does that mean? Stinging insects, the biting kind that hopefully are not in your yard right now, around your home, or heaven forbid, inside your home, because we know, at least I do, what that does to my wife, and she goes crazy. And what does that mean? That means Landrum has to run upstairs and take care of it. Well, Stark Exterminators, they can take care of it for you. Your free home or business pest inspection today by a company that's been family owned and operated for over 61 years. Stark, you can get that free home or business pest inspection by simply calling 855-STARK now. Go to starkexterminators.com. One of their professional team members will come out to your home and or your place of business, inspect it thoroughly inside and out, and come up with a customized, tailor-made program just for you to protect your home, your family. Stark Exterminators. Call for the free home or business pest inspection today. 855-STARK now. Go to starkexterminators.com. And as always, tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you.
Joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, he covers the Auburn Tigers for Auburn Undercover. Nathan King joins us now on the program. Nathan, man, it's hard to believe that we're already a month into the season, but a big one coming up for the Tigers as they head to Norman, Oklahoma for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we knew these first couple games for Auburn, really the start of Auburn's SEC schedule was going to be difficult. Like, from months out all the way back in April and May, we talked about that. And now that it has arrived, it is against the number 11 team in the country on the road, the number 10 team in the country on the road, and the number 5 team in the country back at home in Georgia, who looks like the best team in the league right now. And so trial by fire for Auburn to enter SEC play. And I think, guys, that goes back to how important that win at Baylor was week 1. It is important for right now. It is important for the fact that you do not have a loss on the schedule and you are not going into this really daunting first portion of your SEC slate at 2-1. Instead, you're 3-0, you're ranked, you're feeling confident. Obviously, Oklahoma's a really good team, and it's going to take a really good game for Auburn in Norman to get a win there. But you'd much rather have that approach and at sitting at 3-0 rather than 2-1 on the season.
Nathan, what was your big takeaway after watching Auburn and South Alabama, based on what you expected from the Jags and what you expected from Auburn leading up to SEC play?
That game did not surprise me at all. It did not surprise me in the slightest. 24.5 was way too big, way too big. You got to think about a few things. I mean, I hesitate to throw this word around, but that was a massive, Super Bowl type game for South Alabama. They were going to give their all, and that was going to be one where they, sort of threw the kitchen sink at Auburn. And then number 2, you looked at the type of offense that South Alabama runs, that crossing stuff across the middle, well balanced, a dynamic quarterback. That has given Auburn some problems here in the early portion of the season. Now, it's funny to look at with, such dire straits like Auburn fans have. South Alabama only threw for 170 yards. They only scored 15 points. On the surface, that's just fine. Auburn's defense is doing just fine. But you look a little closer, and as you guys know, there are some concerns right now about this Auburn secondary. Third and longs that have not treated this team very well. They've had trouble slowing down. They've played 2 legitimate quarterbacks so far, and both of them have looked pretty solid against Auburn. So obviously that's a concern with this next team coming up. And then on the offensive side of the ball, though, I thought Hugh Freeze put it well after the game. They did a lot of things really efficiently. I mean, they could have scored more points in this one. You had an 8.5-minute drive in the third quarter that ended with a field goal. And so, I mean, Auburn played possession in this game. They did what they needed to do. They continued to go without a turnover, from Jackson Arnold, which has been really big for them so far this season. His decision-making has been pretty good. Look, if you're an Auburn fan, do you want to win by 30 when you welcome a G5 team to your stadium? Absolutely. But, we tried telling people all week, South Alabama is a legitimately good football team. They almost beat Tulane on the road. People are talking about Tulane as a G5, playoff team this season. And so it went about as expected. And now you go into this Oklahoma game really with the same concerns about this Auburn team we've had from week 1. A lot of it starts with the defensive secondary as you get set to face the SEC's leading passer right now.
So, Nathan, I know we will see the availability reports later this week, but as of this moment, from an injury perspective, how is Singleton Jr., the other guys that are banged up a little bit, how do you think this arsenal is going to look like heading to Norman?
Yeah, it's way too long of a list right now for Auburn, right? They would not have preferred it to look like this heading into week 4. They're the guys that we've known about for the past few weeks, whom I would expect to play. Damari Alston has had a sort of a shoulder stinger. He was actually available for this game. If it had been close or someone like Jeremiah Cobb had been hurt, he would have been able to play. So I would expect him to go. Champ Anthony was also ready to go in this game. But again, when you've got a safety who just had surgery for a broken thumb 2 weeks ago and you're up by two scores in the second half, you're not going to put that guy in the game. Malcolm Simmons, he checked in for one play in this game, and they sort of looked at his shoulder and said, nah, he'll be all right. So all three of those guys. Eric Singleton, just a minor hip injury, so I would expect him to be ready to go, but he needs to be at full speed. I mean, we've seen how much of a difference he makes in this offense when he is explosive. Going back to that week 1 game at Baylor, he really wasn't a threat in the passing game, and getting healthier these last 2 weeks he has been. I'm looking more closely at a guy like Jay Crawford. We mentioned the secondary. He banged knees with somebody. That's what Hugh Freeze said during the game. He left in the second quarter, did not return the rest of the game, and then Omaris Williams separated his shoulder during the game, the sophomore pass rusher. Hugh Freeze said, popped right back in. It'll just have to be how swollen is it, how painful is it over the course of the week. And so you're looking at a situation where realistically every single one of those guys that Hugh Freeze rattled off after the game, every single one of them could be ready to go for Oklahoma. I would probably think, because of how minor things sound for all of them, that they should be ready to go. And boy, they're gonna really need it. It's a stiff challenge for Auburn on both sides of the ball. But I look at somebody like Crawford and Singleton in particular, what they look like coming back, because you never know. It's immediately after the game. You're just trying to make a knee-jerk reaction. You never really know the severity. So I'll be interested to hear from Hugh Freeze later today.
Here early in the week, Nathan, when you look at John Mateer and what Oklahoma have done to this point this season, what are some of the interesting head-to-head matchups, position group or player-wise, that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Mateer is able to be so dynamic, I think has really made the largest difference for this offense at Oklahoma. That's exactly what they wanted him to be last season. When you look at a guy like John Mateer, that's what you wanted him to be. But it obviously just didn't turn out how you wanted it to, and that's obviously going to garner a lot of attention on the other side of the ball. But man, it's just the fact that if you were to draw up a quarterback early this season that would give Auburn problems based on what you've seen so far, it would be a guy like John Mateer. And that's a really big concern, because he's able to move the pocket with how athletic he is. Obviously, we know he's able to run the ball a little bit, and then he's not afraid to push the ball. They have a really reliable tight end. You mentioned in position matchups. Jaron Kinnick is maybe the best tight end in the country right now, a converted linebacker, 245 receiving yards. He's Oklahoma's leading receiver right now through just a few games. You're talking about an Auburn defense where their nickels and safeties have not been very good. And now you're going up against one of the best tight ends in the country early on this season. And so that position matchup, obviously, carries a little bit of weight. I look at the running game for Oklahoma. It's been solid with Mateer, and Blaylock, the true freshman, has been their go-to running back. Auburn has been really good stopping the run. Now, have they faced teams that want to do that very much? Not necessarily. Baylor kind of abandoned it. Ball State was a non-starter, and then South Alabama had to throw the ball a lot in the second half. So how much do those numbers really mean? We're going to find out. But I do think this front seven for Auburn is stronger than the secondary right now. They are absolutely going to have to be. If you let Oklahoma get into its base offense with Ben Arbuckle and Mateer, and the marriage that has brought to them so far, if you let them get comfortable, they're just going to pick you apart up and down the field. And this does not need to be a game where Auburn is asking Jackson Arnold, with all the things Brent Venables is going to throw at him. This does not need to be a game where you're asking Jackson Arnold to go out there, hey, you got to score 35 points to win this game. Like, the defense needs to do their part. They've done well to get takeaways. I will say they've gotten situational stops in all three of their games so far that have been pretty important, and thus they haven't let up a bunch of points. So, man, if you can get a red zone stop here or there in this game, get a turnover on your own side of the field, those kinds of things would loom large, because so far we are led to believe John Mateer is going to get his. He's going to throw for 3 bills. He's going to put up numbers. You've got to find a way to keep that scoreboard from blowing up too much.
Well, I was going to ask you about Jackson Arnold, because that will be the center of attention, him coming back to Norman to play his former team. But what you've seen so far is very interesting. I know he did what the defense gave him the opportunity to do. He ran the ball effectively against Baylor, but it seems like the last couple of games, and correct me if I'm wrong, it just seems like obviously Hugh Freeze and the offensive game plan was to try to get him to throw the ball more, because teams are going to lock in on him running the football. So they wanted him to stay in the pocket a little bit more the last 2 games.
Yeah, Ball State was definitely a focus on that. There were drives. I remember in the first half, they had a 3rd and 2, and they're averaging like 8 yards a carry, and they go empty and have Jackson Arnold drop back. So it's like, okay, they're very clearly just trying to work on stuff. Last week was a little bit more of a return to the base offense, and that's where I think I can give Jackson Arnold the biggest compliment right now is that running this system, it's been a few years now since we've seen an Auburn quarterback do this. And granted, all 3 of their defenses they've faced so far this season have been really bad. All 3 of those defenses they've played. So we're about to find out in a big way. But he's looked very comfortable, looked very confident. You mentioned, an important word there, taking what they've given him. He's done a really, really good job of assessing the defense, sort of, if there's an option to run, if there's an opening in the middle, he's going to take off and get 5 yards. If that out route is there, obviously they've got guys like Singleton and Malcolm Simmons who are really quick to get to the football on the outside. If that's there, he's going to throw it. If Cam Coleman's one-on-one, he's going to loft the ball downfield. And so really, I can count on one hand the number of even somewhat questionable decisions Jackson Arnold has made so far this season. And so that is going to be absolutely paramount because I was talking to my buddy, Tom Green, who used to work for L.com, now works for Oklahoma 247. He said that the thing with Jackson Arnold last season mainly was that his confidence was shattered in practice. He was going against this Oklahoma defense and just getting nothing going against that group. And so by the time the game rolled around, he wasn't necessarily confident in what he was doing. It's that same group. It's that same coaching staff. It's a lot of those same players. Brett Venables knows what makes Jackson Arnold tick, and he is going to try to do everything he can to make him uncomfortable in this game. So Auburn needs to get him some quick throws, some easy throws, get him moving with his legs. That's where he's looked the best early this season. It really looks like he's comfortable when he can just open up and like I said, get a few yards per carry and start to run that RPO offense. And so, running the ball is going to be really, really important to get Oklahoma on its heels. But it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a good barometer for this team overall because, like I said, this defense that they're about to face is leagues better than what they've seen so far through the first 3 weeks.
Nathan, I'm just curious, and we knew this stretch was going to be brutal no matter how you drew it up prior to the start of the season with Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and then the bye week and then coming back with Georgia. But as you look at the SEC as a whole from afar, does it set up more difficult for Auburn and their schedule, or is it about like you thought it would be?
No, it's more difficult. Every team looks pretty good, right? 6 of their 8 SEC opponents right now are ranked. One of those that's not ranked is Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky's very good, and so that game's in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn should win that one. The other one is Arkansas on the road, and Arkansas looked the other day like they can put up some points. They're probably going to put up some points on their home field, so they're not going to be an easy out. Vanderbilt looks legitimately good. It's no longer the gimmicky, good for Vanderbilt to have a 6-6 season. No, this is a legitimate potential 8-4 type team that looks really, really strong. You've got to play them in Nashville this season. Missouri is going to be no cakewalk. That's been a team that's sort of flown under the radar early this season in terms of just what they've looked like. They've looked like a really solid football team. And yeah, these next 3 games coming up, and I hesitate to just lay something out that is not obviously, where Auburn wants to be in terms of its accomplishments for wins and losses. But you look at these next 3 games, you can just win one of them at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M, at home against number 5 Georgia. You can grab one of those games. You are going to be in a much, much better spot moving forward. I do think it is good they get a bye week before Georgia. But this one coming up here after this, Texas A&M's on bye before they get to host Auburn. And so there's a lot of stuff going on that has made this Auburn schedule a lot trickier. But at the same time, I really do believe this is Auburn's best team in a few years. They've got a lot of quality aspects going for them on both sides of the ball. And so I would be led to believe they're going to be competitive in all these games. So it's going to come down to the critical downs. It's going to come down to limiting turnovers and trying to get those key stops because I don't see them getting blown out in any one of these games coming up. And so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
All right. I know it's Monday, a lot of question marks, how the week goes, who's going to be available. But I am just curious, not asking for a point score on Saturday against Oklahoma, but do you anticipate that this is going to be a dogfight to the fourth quarter, low-scoring game? What's your gut telling you as of Monday?
If we just go with everything you've seen so far, I think it can be a one-score game in the fourth quarter for sure. John Mateer has been really good. He's also had a few careless plays. He's thrown 3 interceptions already through 3 games. And as I mentioned at the beginning, Auburn's defense, for all of its struggles, and really there haven't been that many struggles, but, looking at the secondary, for all of those issues we just talked about, they've gotten a lot of key stops. You go back to that Baylor game, they stopped Baylor on 4th and goal on the second drive of the game. If that game turns into a 10-0 game, who knows what would have happened? They get a stop on their own side of the field in that game. They stopped South Alabama in their own territory twice in this last game, including a turnover. And so you get a couple of those plays. I'm led to believe this Auburn defense, look, even if this Auburn defense has issues right now, they've got dudes. Like, this is the most talented Auburn defense in quite some time. They've got a lot of really good players all over the place. If those guys can continue to make plays, if Jackson Arnold can sort of play within himself. But I just think it's, I'm obviously inclined to go Oklahoma to win this game for 2 reasons. Number one, Brent Venables has the book on Jackson Arnold. I mean, he is one of the great quarterback confusers of our sport, Brent Venables is, and he's bringing his 2-year quarterback back to his former stadium. So he's going to really throw a lot at Jackson Arnold. And then on the other side, a guy like John Mateer, like I said, he's sort of the prototype for what's given Auburn trouble so far defensively. And so neither of those things bode very well. But like I said, Auburn has an opportunity to be in every single one of these games because of their talent, because of how well they've played so far, how consistent they've played so far. And I would expect that to be the same on Saturday in Norman.
Outstanding job, as always, by Nathan King. Covers the Auburn beat there at 247, auburnundercover.com, at Nathan King 247 on X. Nathan, we always appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You as well. Nathan joining us, as all of our guests do, on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Are you tired of worrying about your roof? Whether it's your family home or a commercial building, Abide Roofing delivers tailored solutions for every need. At Abide, it's about more than just a new roof. It's about a team of highly skilled pros who bring their A game to every job. They work with precision and pride, using only the best materials to guarantee durability and lasting value. With over 25 years of trusted experience, they have the expertise to get the job done right the first time. We know dealing with insurance companies can be a hassle. I'm a walking example of that. I needed some things done on my roof, and my insurance company, they were dragging their feet. I called Travis Lloyd at Abide Roofing. He not only helped me once, but twice, getting on my roof with the insurance adjuster. He is there to be your advocate. He's there to help you get the insurance taken care of. Free consultation and estimate ready to go. Just call Travis and his local roofing team at 205-941-6223. I could not have been more happy with what they did with a full roof replacement for me. Call Abide Roofing, 205-941-6223, or go to their website, abideroof.com. We will continue on this Reaction Monday. You're listening to Jock's 3-Man Front.
11:21 three-man front reaction Monday. A lot of your texts rolling in on the weekend that was. Maybe a little look ahead to the weekend, the upcoming weekend. Auburn taking on Oklahoma and Norman. Just talked to Nathan King about that. You can find that at the podcast at jocksfm.com. Back to your phone calls. Let's go to our friend Crimson Convict. CC, how are you?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. Thank you.
Good. Hey, first of all, have we pulled the birth certificate on Gilbert up there at Tennessee? I'm pretty sure there's a middle school truancy officer that's still looking for him. Does he not look like he's about 15?
Yes.
I'm sorry. That was me.
No,
but,
it's not mean. He's going to appreciate that when he's 50.
Yeah, probably so. Let me ask you something, guys. When the bandwagon pulled in to get some gas, I jumped in under the axle, so I'm on it, but I'm just not visible.
I got you.
Are special teams going to cost us a game at some point this year?
Field goal kicking or kickoff team, punt team? What are you talking about?
Right now, I got questions on all three. Do you not?
I mean, well, yeah, but I just didn't know if there was one that would jump out to you more than any other.
Well, field goal for sure.
Yeah, there's no range there. That you better you might ought to go for it on fourth down, no matter where you are, based on common quality.
Right. I mean, it's just I think anything inside of 40, we may be pretty comfortable, but we definitely don't have Brandon Aubrey range for sure.
No,
not too many people
did you see that this weekend?
Oh, it was crazy.
Oh my God!
That thing would have been good from 74, not just 64, but 74. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? I saw this stat, Crimson Convict, where he has hit 2 64-yard field goals, and outside of him, I think there's only been 2 others in the history of the NFL. So he's got 2 of the 4.
Yeah. And the thing is I was thinking about it. I mean, I don't know if it's the steroids in our food now, but if you think back to when Van Tiffen was trying to kick a 52-yarder, and it was unheard of to kick a 50-plus yard field goal, and now if it's not automatic in the NFL, they're going to yank you. Just ask Atlanta's kicker, the Falcons kicker.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm happy. I am. I still got my reservations, and I'm sure my ledger will reflect that this coming Thursday or Friday, whenever y'all can fit me in. But you know what? Simp looks good. The only thing that Hollywood, he's scared to go across the middle, man. What is his deal catching passes across the middle of the field?
I don't know, but that was bad, him dropping that easy touchdown. That was bad.
Well, both of them. There were 2. He would have had 450 and 5 touches if it hadn't been. And the one towards the end, I forgot who dropped it. But yeah, he would have had 400 plus passing and 5 touchdowns. But I won't hang up the phone lines, brother. Listen, I appreciate y'all, and I will definitely get with you at the end of the week.
Sounds good. Thanks you for the call.
CC. Yeah, if there's a phobia there, he needs to get over it. However they go about doing that, but maybe a little shell shocked from either last season or I guess it would be the Florida State game. I have no idea. We'll continue with your phone calls. Also, your text messages are welcome as well. The Jocks text line, 205-834-9450. And somebody commenting on Auburn and Oklahoma. This listener says, run balls, stop run. Auburn 35-24. Maybe it'll be that easy. Johnny says, please comment on the bogus targeting call that knocked Sellers out of the game. Oh, it's tough. I guess by letter of the law, it was targeting because it was helmet to helmet, but I can see why if you're a Vanderbilt fan or you're just a college football fan and you're watching that game, asking the question of why.
This is what Shane Beamer had to say during the broadcast on that specific play.
I asked him as soon as it happened if it was looking at it for targeting, that for our quarterback to be laying on the ground like that, he probably got hit in the head. And then for whatever reason, it took them a while to buzz down. So I don't know what's going on in Birmingham or wherever they look at it, but I thought it was pretty obvious.
It's time, score, and how much we have wagered on the game. We were looking at impact.
Good answer.
What did you think?
I mean, it took me an angle or two before I realized that it was targeting. I didn't sense that it was a grossly.
Well, in real time, it looked like he grazed him on the head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It took a couple of times for me to see a different angle to
kind of
say,
conditioned
okay,
to it,
that,
though.
That was, but
now with obviously it affected Sellers. He threw the interception though prior to that point and being knocked out of the game. Just making sure.
I tell you what, he's very fortunate that he didn't get flagged. The way that he was acting on the sidelines. You can be mad all you want to, but man, he pushed it.
How long do you think before Brent Key comes back to the SEC as a head coach? Would he be in your top 2 or 3 coaches to go after? Depends on who you are. But yeah, Brent Key, his name's certainly going to be circulating. Maybe he's a name that's on the Florida list later on.
Yeah, maybe so.
I can't see Brent Key at UCLA.
No, why would you leave Georgia Tech for that right now? Oh,
Can't see him at Virginia Tech. Why would you want to go that right now?
nope.
Are you guys buying Pavia's championship chances now?
Oh, you're getting a little nervous, aren't you?
No, not really.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, the earring.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
got to
it
get
was.
the earrings.
The earrings. Oh, man, it would be so nice to be on the other end of one of those bets. I can only imagine what that must feel like for y'all.
Oh, we'll squeeze another one in for you before we get to that point.
No.
in time.
The Badger, that was the last one. We're done with those.
Oh, we're doing one for she's going to paint the Georgia dog on your face.
Ah,
Yep.
good. I'd rather not do that.
You remember the bald-headed dude that's got the UGA
Oh, yeah.
painted on his
Yeah.
yeah, she's going to do that to your face.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she was going to shave my head and then do that.
Well,
to
no,
it.
that's a good idea. We'll just do that then.
Shave your butt, teach you to walk backwards. Isn't that the old joke?
Yes.
That's a new one.
This one reads, I don't know how that was targeting, but FSU's hit on Hollywood wasn't. I get it, wasn't helmet to helmet, but definitely forcible contact to the head and neck area. Why does Bray Hubbard have to get lambasted on social media for loafing to get him to play harder? Why wasn't he this fired up in the season opener? Is this indicative of coaching/leadership in a locker room problem?
I mean, I think it's fair to ask why did you need to be motivated at the start of the season, but he's clearly been motivated since then. And again, for keeping score at home, this is now 2 weeks in a row that you've seen Kalen DeBoer chew someone's butt out on the sideline while Alabama's up 20-plus points. So, again, fair to ask why does that even need to be, addressed in the first place at the start of the season, but they clearly seem to have corrected it.
We will continue with your text messages, phone calls, and we will recap some other SEC games we haven't been able to spend much time on. This is Reaction Monday here on Jocks. So we knew going into the Ole Miss Arkansas game that had the potential to be a very high scoring game, and it did not disappoint. I think the over-under was 60 and a half, something like that. Ole Miss holding on to a 41-35 lead. This is the way it sounded on the Ole Miss radio network.
They have marched to the Ole Miss 27 with the clock winding down. And down by 6. Trips to the left for the Razorbacks. There's the snap, swing route, far side. Like an illegal block in the back. They didn't call it. It all comes out. Loose ball. The Rebels have it. Yes! Ole Miss recovers! Are you kidding me? At the 25-yard line.
There you go. That was huge, getting the big turnover. Trinidad Chambliss.
That's why I love a radio broadcast, though.
Home radio broadcast.
I love it.
Home radio broadcast. Trinidad Chambliss, 353 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He ran for 62 yards, 2 touchdowns. Austin Simmons better get healthy pretty quick. Better hurry. Chambliss looked really good. Rebels stripped Jalen Brown at the Ole Miss 24 with less than 2 minutes remaining. You just heard that. Hogs had 522 yards of offense. Talon Green threw for 305. He ran for 111. Wow. Under Pittman, Arkansas is now 7-18 in one-score games. This is what Sam Pittman had to say after the game about being 7-18 in those one-score games.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I mean, I don't know what I do with it. Tell me what to do. I mean, I don't know what to do.
Curious for you, how do you believe that this team will learn from the loss tonight and to hopefully, flip the script moving forward in the next couple of weeks?
I don't know. I mean, they're hurt, which is a good thing. It means something to them, which is a good thing. So when you have that, they'll go back to work and they'll do a good job with that.
God, I just love Sam Pittman.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that they're probably going to fire him. But, man, he's just –
What a difference that was, his press conference and responding to the media than what we got from Brian Kelly at LSU.
Isn't that something?
Brian Kelly won the game, and then look how Sam Pittman responded to questions after losing a game.
Yeah, a legitimate question in which the reporter basically said, so what makes you think that these players are going to do any better? Which, if you'd asked Brian Kelly that, Brian Kelly thinks you're being a smart ass, and he's going to come after you.
Right. Well, maybe it's good news for Brian Kelly because he watched what Arkansas was able to do on the Pete Golden defense, and that could be his get-right offensively statistical game.
Yeah, I think I do have an update. Apparently, Brian Kelly did an interview this morning on the SEC network with Peter Burns. And in this interview, I believe he basically said that he was fighting for his football team. And after a big win like that, that was kind of like that was going to be one of the things that, he was going to go in there and fight for his team, which, again, I didn't sense that somebody was trying to
challenge the.
Yeah. I mean, it was a legitimate question.
Again, I think that if you ask that to Brian Kelly 3-4 questions in, you don't get the same response. He didn't like that they let off with that instead of a congratulations, huge win. Think about what this is going to do moving forward. I think he took exception to that. But I think part of that, again, is also with he realizes right now they're having trouble running the football.
Very much so. And if you missed it last hour and we talked about it, LSU is next to last in the SEC in total offense. And they've played a Louisiana Tech team at home, and you played a Florida team that turned the ball over 5 times. So you had your opportunities. I'll give you a pass going to the other Death Valley and play Clemson. You did win, but, I mean, Clemson's got a legitimate good defensive front. I get that. But, man, coming home and showing your problems against Louisiana Tech and now against Florida.
You haven't scored 30 points this year.
Yeah.
In a single game.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But, circle the wagon, say you're going to fight for the team. Those kids in that locker room, they don't hear anything you say because they're not paying attention to anything you say because unless it's on their phone, they don't hear you or pay attention to it. Now they hear you in the locker room, but when you go on SEC Network or anywhere else and go on the Paul Feinbaum show this afternoon and make excuses, that's fine. But
will we get an apology from Brian Kelly to that reporter?
No, absolutely not. Nope, because he's defending his football team. He's fighting for those kids in the locker room. It's the same crap we heard a couple years ago with Kirby Smart, when Kirby Smart was trying to tell everybody in college football that nobody predicted Georgia to be one of the top teams in the country. You remember that?
Yes.
We suck. We're horrible.
It's just as funny now when you say it as it was back then.
We're terrible. Awful. Okay. Well, according to Tiger Droppings, and Molly just sent this to me. So apparently this morning on the SEC Network, Brian Kelly, he says, I have to do a better job of handling those kinds of questions. I apologize to Michael Cobble, who's a very good reporter. There is so much emotion after a game like that. I want to defend my players and my team, but I'll do better.
He apologized, or he was apologizing on the...
I apologize to Michael Cobble, who's a good reporter. And this is a direct quote. So we stand corrected. He did apologize. Good for him.
Good for BK.
Yep. That's what he should have done.
Shouldn't have had to apologize in the first place because you shouldn't have answered the question that way. But
like I said, that was the very first question of the press conference. But he came back at the very end of the press conference and looked at him and told him it was a stupid question. So he did not let it go. I understand maybe the first one because you're coming in there, you're all hyped up, you've got the adrenaline going. He got his butt knocked down on the sideline. You remember that play?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So maybe he was a little bit juiced up, and he came in there with a little attitude. That's fine. But hey, at least he apologized. Because once again, I just have a problem with these guys making $10 to $11 million. And I don't know how much Michael Cobble makes, but I'm just telling you, they don't make a lot of money. And he's in there doing his job and he asks legitimate questions. And then you want to go after him. After 3 days before, he started belly aching and telling people there's no crying on the yacht when it comes to people complaining about NIL and transfer portal during the college football playoff. Remember that? Well, guess what, Brian? There's no crying on the yacht.
You're making $11 million and you got $18 million tied up in the transfer portal. Why can you not run the ball more effectively?
Yeah, that's a legitimate question. But let's attack a guy at the hometown television station. But I'm sure all the radio folks there in the great state of Louisiana will have Brian Kelly's back.
800-239-WJOX. Beham Dog. Beham Dog, how are you?
Man, I am good. I am on the eve from flying out to Hawaii in the morning, so I am on cloud 9.
Nice.
So, yeah. Hey, I've learned over my 51 years of life on this beautiful earth that if you finish an apology with saying, I'll do better, it's kind of a sarcastic way of I'm not really sorry. That's just my opinion on that.
Good takeaway.
Hey, I wanted to ask y'all something about y'all was talking about LSU's rushing attack, and they have played two pretty good defenses to start the year. Where, if you compare Alabama and LSU and how they run the ball, and you put in the big picture of supporting staff, schedule, take all the variables in, quarterback play, who has the biggest concern of not being able to rush the ball? Would it be LSU and their playoff run, or would it be Alabama and their playoff run? And I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Beham Dog. Appreciate it. Right now, from my vantage point, it would be LSU because Alabama, with the weapons that you have on the outside with a healthy Ryan Williams and everybody, let's just assume everybody's playing at max effort. But right now, Ty Simpson's looked more impressive to me than Garrett Nussmeier has. And how much of Alabama right now, maybe their lack, not having a Jalen Milroe, which added to some of those stats, and whether it was quarterback design runs or runs out of necessity that he was able to pick up that we're not getting from Ty Simpson, he's not being asked to do that. But right now, I would say the bigger concern would be with LSU and who's left on the schedule and how many points you're going to have to score in some of those games.
I would agree with that, and I think a lot of it, you brought up Ty. I think Ty, what he brings with his legs, it's not Jalen Milroe-esque, but it's much more than you get from a guy like Garrett Nussmeier. He has some wiggle to him. And I think also when you couple that with how bad LSU's passing attack has been, at least based on what we thought it would be, that's only going to make it harder for you to run the ball. And also, the final thing for Alabama is let's wait and see what it looks like when Jam Miller comes back. Right now, do I think Jam Miller is going to come back and average 150 yards a game? No. But he brings back a lot of experience. He was clearly their top running back before he got hurt. So, let's see what he can do a little bit there. But yeah, I think LSU a little more trouble right now with their run game.
I mean, they've gotten 332 yards rushing in 3 games, 108 against Clemson, 128 against La Tech, and 96 against Florida, but 51 of the 96 came on one of the last plays of the game when they were trying to obviously ice the clock, and he got past the first level and got those 51 yards. So, they're about 13 yards less than Alabama in regards to rushing attack per game. As Conrad pointed out earlier, they are barely ahead of South Carolina for dead last in the SEC in rushing offense. Alabama is 14th, but Alabama averages around 14 more yards a game rushing than LSU. So
we'll continue with your phone calls, your texts as well here on this Reaction Monday as we roll on. It's 3-Man Front on Jocks.
Been spending a lot of time talking about the SEC over the weekend. Big games, a lot of exciting games. Probably one of the biggest games on the docket that did not reside in the Southeastern Conference or involve a Southeastern Conference team. Well, it did back in the old days. Georgia Tech was once a member of the Southeastern Conference back before we kicked them out. They took on Clemson over in Atlanta, Georgia. And, man, what a game. This is the way it sounded on the Georgia Tech radio network.
Snap back, set down, booted up. It's got the leg. It's got the chance. It is good!
Andy, what a kick. What a play. Aiden Burr perfect on the day. Georgia Tech for the win.
A school record tying 55-yard field goal. And Aiden Burr delivers the dagger that slays the Tigers.
So over the weekend, we had the crumbling of Rocky Top, and now the sword that slayed the Tigers. Is that what he said?
Yes.
Something like that.
The methed out Tiger.
Yeah, that was good. 55-yard field goal for the win. Haynes King, 19 of 27, 216 yards. He had 25 carries for 103 yards. It looks like every game he can barely walk.
Yeah.
And you know why?
He gives it all.
Yeah. Throws the ball 27 times, carried the ball for 25.
Leaves it all out there, Pat.
Here's an amazing stat. Love these. Hewitt Trustful's Brent Key. He is now 7-1 against ranked ACC opponents.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
First of all, it's impressive that the ACC.
He's had that many games against ranked teams.
Opportunities against teams ranked from the ACC.
7-1 against ACC ranked opponents.
That'll get.
So he's 7-1 against Clemson in Miami.
In Miami.
Clemson now 1-2 after being the preseason number 4 team in America. Clemson entered the season with a 38% chance to make the college football playoff. After the Tech loss, that number now drops to 5%.
Better chance. Both smart schools. Very similar colors. Better chance to make the college football playoff. Georgia Tech?
Yes.
Vanderbilt?
Georgia Tech.
I'd say Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, because of
schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear from Dabo Swinney. Let's see if he pulls a Brian Kelly. Now, Brian Kelly won. Dabo didn't. So let's see if Tyler from Spartanburg
but
might have called
Dabo's
in
won a couple
post-game
of
show.
natties.
Yes, he has. He's beaten Nick Saban. Here's Dabo.
Obviously, incredibly disappointed, for our team. And these kids, we got great kids. They work their tail off. They care, and I hurt for our fans too because they care. And so it's not the start that we wanted, but we got to stay together and we got to fight our way out.
There you go. Now, we'll see if Dabo in his weekly presser, which I think is tomorrow, we'll see if he grades Georgia Tech like he did LSU.
Yeah.
Did he give him a 58 against LSU?
Well, it was a 65-58, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think a lower grade tomorrow.
65 was LSU. They got a 58.
Yep.
And another Heisman frontrunner at the beginning of the season that has not been that good.
How about the power draw, though, from that kicker?
Yeah, because when it first left his foot, I was like, ooh. It
was a heck of a kick.
Yeah. It was really sad, though. It wasn't a sellout. A lot of empty seats in the upper deck, and that's not a very big venue. Guess there were other things going on in Hotlanta over the weekend instead of that football.
It's a happening place.
It is. A lot going on.
They were all at the Braves game. Not really.
They actually won a game over the weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, the AP poll came out yesterday, and our favorite voter, Haley Sawyer, who covers the Southern California Trojans. So South Florida loses, but now they're a top 25 team on our ballot.
Hey, I will give her credit. I think they should still be ranked. They have 2 top 25 wins, and they lost to a top 10 team in the country. They should still be ranked.
But it's just the fact that they were...
It's a make good.
Yeah, 2 top 25 wins.
Where does she have Florida this week?
They're number 10. I think they moved up a couple spots.
Not ranked.
They're not ranked.
Okay.
She has Auburn at 23.
Does she have Notre Dame still ranked?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Top 20.
Number 19.
Number 19. Ahead of Georgia Tech.
Seriously?
After all the scrutiny that our show and others put on her last week when it was revealed her rationale, and by the way, that was on her. She should have never gone on the podcast and
all right, here we go.
Admitted to all of that.
This will be a weekly segment on the show.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind carbon copied somebody else and their ballot that she respects.
Maybe so, yeah.
So you got Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Oregon, Miami. That's her top 5. Georgia, Texas, Texas A&M, Illinois, Florida State. 11 is Oklahoma, followed by Iowa State. What a joke. Like, Arkansas State almost beat them.
Oh, I know.
This week.
Pat, they're 4-0. They're 4-0, man.
Whatever.
They got more wins than anybody else in college football.
Ole Miss is after Iowa State, then Utah, then Tennessee. Then Bama, Indiana, Texas Tech, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. Michigan, South Florida, Auburn, Vandy, Mizzou. That's her top 25 ballot for this week.
I'm not surprised Notre Dame is still ranked, but I was really disappointed to see that they are still ranked.
So Bama was 14 in the Associated Press. Bama was 14 in the coaches poll. Meanwhile, Auburn was 22nd in the AP poll and 25 in the coaches poll for this week. And the disclaimer, neither poll means a hill of beans in the college football playoff, but it is fun to at least look at Haley Sawyer's ballot every week.
John Mack says, Conrad, you shouldn't be making fun of your next head coach, Dabo. He's going to hear mama calling. He's going to have to go home.
At this rate, he'll be an analyst.
That's right. More of your phone calls, more of your texts, more discussion the weekend that was, and the look at three-man front right here on Jocks.
It is 12 noon. Welcome back in. This is Three Man Front on Jocks. Appreciate you tuning us in. It is Reaction Monday. 1-800-239-WJOX. That is the phone number. The courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. A lot of discussion this morning about Alabama and Auburn. Big victories over the weekend. Auburn getting ready for the Oklahoma Sooners coming up. That's a 2:30 kickoff from Norman, Oklahoma. We had Nathan King on from Auburn Undercover. If you missed that interview, you can download it and listen to it in your entirety, as you'll get an opportunity to hear what Nathan King has to say about this weekend's game. Did not give us a score prediction, Landrum, but he did go as far as to say that he is picking Oklahoma to win this game against Auburn. And there's a lot of easy reasons why, mainly because Brent Venables knows Jackson Arnold pretty well.
Well, not only that, but you got John Mateer. You're playing at home, and this looks like a much better Oklahoma team than we saw last year. One Oklahoma team that beat Auburn, and I know Auburn fans don't want to think about that when Auburn had the game in hand. So, yeah, I would install Oklahoma as a natural betting favorite heading into this game. Would not be at all surprised if Oklahoma was able to win, but you look at the next three games. Can you get one of those games, whether it be Oklahoma this week, whether it be College Station next week, or 3-4 weeks from now when you take on Georgia after the bye week at home?
So according to Las Vegas, right now, Auburn and Oklahoma is a 6.5-point favorite. Mizzou, almost a 2-touchdown favorite over South Carolina. Miami at home, a 7.5-point favorite over Florida. Ole Miss, 11.5 favorite against Tulane. Arkansas, 4.5 at Memphis. UAB at Tennessee this week. The Vegas oddsmaker has Tennessee as a 38-point favorite against the Blazers. You've got NIU, Northern Illinois, visiting Mississippi State, and the Bulldogs are 21.5-point favorites. Georgia State at Vandy, Commodores 27-point favorite, and Sam Houston takes on Texas, and the Longhorns are a 42-point favorite at home, trying to get Arch Manning going in the right direction.
Phone lines are open, 800-239-WJOX. Let's go to our friend Bama Hater. Bama Hater, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Y'all doing all right?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, man, I can't complain. Hey, I got my own top 20 poll, but I don't have that much time to give it to you, but I'm going to give you the number one team in the country, Miami Hurricanes. We looking good on defense for a change, and the offense don't seem like they missed a beat. So that's my number one team in the nation right now. But I called to ask you guys a couple of questions to see what your opinion is of your team off McFarland Boulevard. Of course, they've played two decent games the last two games, and yes, another unranked opponent. So what I want to know is, how do you guys feel about South Florida being as low as they are, and they played three top 25 opponents? They beat two of them. And they were predicted, some people predicted them to knock my Hurricanes off, and, we were supposed to be one of those three ranked teams that they knocked off. But somehow Mississippi State, Vandy, and LSU is still behind, well, not LSU, but the rest of them are behind Alabama. And Alabama is getting promoted for beating an unranked Wisconsin team. I can see if Wisconsin was ranked anywhere in the top 25, and Alabama moved up to 14. So these people have moved Bama up, 7 spots for beating two unranked opponents?
Correct.
How fair is that?
I don't know about it fair. It makes absolutely no difference in the world to me whatsoever. We're talking about rankings that will change at the end of this week, and these don't influence the college football playoff. Yes, there's perception that's out there, Bama Hater, but I don't think anything about it. They're going to change again.
But Landry,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying completely, but it affects the teams that are below them that are unranked at the time. And my thing is, we moved up one spot for beating a ranked team, and Bama moved up 7 spots for beating two unranked teams. The math ain't mathing, baby.
Let me ask you a question, Bama Hater. So you texted us this morning. You said that right now Florida State is the number 2 team in the country, in your opinion, right now.
Why shouldn't they be?
No, and I don't have a point. I don't have a problem with you saying that, but do you not think that maybe that leads some credence to Alabama being back up to number 14? If all they lost to this year is the second best team in the country, then why do you have such a problem with them moving back up in the rankings? Because they lost to an elite team according to your own rankings.
But see, this is my take on it. You can't take credit for a team that you lost to for that team being elevated because you couldn't take care of business when you were ranked high and you lost to that certain team. And at the time of the game, Florida State was unranked. So
because they're number 2 right now and haven't lost a game, that means that the version of Florida State Alabama played in week 1, that doesn't matter. But now they're the second best team in the country and they don't deserve credit for that game. I'm just you're not making sense.
No, I'm not making sense to you because you're a Bama homer. What I'm saying is at the time of the game, Alabama was number 8 in the country, the 8th best team out of every college football team, and they lost to a team that was unranked. Now you want credit to be given to Bama because the team that beat them has been elevated up the polls. That team should have been elevated. Alabama beat 2 unranked teams and got moved up 7 spots, and every game that they played this year has been to an unranked opponent.
I mean, I would say if you started off number 8 and you've only lost to the number 2 team in the country, moving back to 14, that's maybe a little harsh on Alabama, actually.
No, you actually moved back to number 21 because you lost to a team that wasn't ranked. And then you played 2 unranked teams following that. Every game is unranked teams. But you want to be elevated as if you beat
But they played the number 2 team in the country in week 1, according to you.
But no, you played the unranked team in week 1.
Oh, so that team is not the same team that they played in week 1 now? They're different teams?
Conrad, the team that you played week 1 was unranked. Regardless if that team is number 2, number 22, or 42. They were unranked when they beat Alabama.
So is that team different now than they were in week 1?
I don't know what they are.
Well, they're the number 2 team in the country, according to you.
They beat the number 18 when they were unranked. That's a fact.
I think that you guys need to continue and settle this debate tomorrow at
No,
Social Taco.
the debate was settled week 1. Remember when Miami was supposed to be the most overranked?
Yes.
And now we're 3-0 and number 4 in the country, and Alabama is barely in the top 20 because of some love.
14 is barely in the top 20? It's like in the upper.
You just got back in. You were number 21 and you got elevated for beating another unranked team.
Yeah.
Yes,
I am just mad. I am just mad that Alabama was ranked number 8. They lost to the number 2 team in the country, and they got moved back to 21. That seems a little ridiculous to me. Don't you agree?
Please stop saying they lost to the number 2 team.
I'm just going off your rankings, but you gave us your rankings.
They lost to a 13.5 point underdog.
To the number 2 team, they would have a top 10 loss. They don't have a top 10 loss. They lost to a team that was unranked, sir.
But Florida State's in the top 10 right now. I'm sorry, you're not making sense to me. Right. I'm confused.
You guys continue this. Thank you, Bama Hater, for the phone call. 800-239-WJ.
I love it. You got in the lug nut line. Love it.
He did.
I mean, does that not seem unfair to Alabama to lose to the number 2 team in the country and fall back 13 spots in the rankings? That's harsh.
Well, Bama Hater's not an official pollster.
That's true.
So
we should get him accredited.
Man, I hope Miami beats Florida State.
Just so we can hear FSU Dave and Bama Hater go at it.
Yes.
Well, that'll be a 1 versus 2 matchup, apparently. So I'm looking forward to that game.
Hey, Miami is smelling like a rose if they win that game. Who are they going to lose to? Oh, given their track record, you just.
I mean, I'll say Miami looks.
And Bama Hater would probably be the first to admit it. If you asked him, what are the chances that they stub their toe? If they get past Florida State, if they stub their toe to somebody that you never saw coming, there's probably a good chance.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust Cristobal either.
No.
800-239.
How quickly will they turn on Cristobal?
Oh, so fast.
If this thing goes
so
south.
fast. Well, Bama Hater already can't stand him.
Oh, Daniel sends in Bama Hater. It's not a Bama conspiracy. It's just standard poll movement. Bama moved up partially because teams ahead of them, the poll lost and were moved down. Miami can't move up much because they are near the top of the poll. Daniel doing his best to try to help explain this.
Well, I can tell you one thing. According to Las Vegas, the updated college football playoff champion the championship odds, they have Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, Georgia, Oregon, Texas. They have the same odds, followed by LSU, Miami, and then Alabama. Alabama right behind Miami. Alabama is a 14-1 favorite to win the national championship. So that's the 8th best odds of all teams in college football.
I'm not trying to, I'm again going back to the polls because we have people that are responding. I'm not trying to dismiss saying that they're not important to some people. I know that they are, but especially right now at this point in the season, I'm not going to spend an extra 30 seconds of my life trying to rationalize why a team is 14th, why this team moved this way. It doesn't matter. Haley Sawyer is the exclamation point on all of this. Last week and what we heard from her, an AP voter. Why am I going to waste my time?
Well, and I don't think anybody should be shocked that a team like, let's be honest, right? If Ohio State, Alabama, why is Texas still in the top 10? Texas is not a top 10 football team in the country, but they have the brand and they were ranked highly to start the season.
Top 5 most impressive teams in college football so far this year. Miami's going to be in one of my 5.
No doubt. No doubt about it.
The only way that this becomes something that matters is that the College Football Playoff Committee, who is watching a lot of ball, and they turn on the TV screen and they see a ranking that's right next to your team's name, that could play into their psyche when they get in the room. It's in their back of their mind that Alabama's number 14, according to a poll.
In 2 weeks, Alabama beats Georgia, moot point. Alabama loses to Georgia, moot point.
Yeah, it will all settle itself on the field. It's just,
But none of us trust the folks in the College Football Playoff Committee. So there might be a couple people on that committee right now that's not watching any ball, but they're looking at polls every Sunday.
Fair. It's a fair point.
And then all of a sudden that becomes a problem when you get in the room and you have that in the back of your mind that, Alabama's top 20 team.
Well, I think with Alabama, too, for them as a specific example, came into the year, were ranked too high, right? They were not a top 10 team in the country to start the year. Now, have they looked a lot better than we thought they would after Florida State? Absolutely. So it makes sense that they're going to move back up.
We go back to our conversation that we had the week following the loss to FSU. The next 2 games, Alabama. Is there anything that they can do to change your opinion of what you saw in game 1? As far as outlook for the year. We all agreed no. We expect to see more effort. We expect them to win both of those games. The next test will be in Athens, Georgia.
And I think we would all agree that Florida State undoubtedly has looked like one of the 10 best teams in the country. Just because they weren't ranked coming into the season doesn't mean that it doesn't count, because they turned out to be really, really good. Just like Clemson doesn't get credit for being a top 5 team at the beginning of the year, and they've looked really, really bad.
Mike and Huntsville asking, how is Notre Dame still in the top 25? I'm just going to guess that in the minds of voters, they lost to 3 to Miami, and they lost by 1 to Texas A&M. And they think really highly of those 2 teams.
Well, they're both top 10 losses right now. But I agree. I would have them. They haven't won a game yet. I know their schedule's funky, but you haven't won a game. We're a month into the season.
Will's got all kinds of theories today. We'll continue with your texts and your phone calls. Some of the texts we can read. I'm going to read them all. I'm going to share one with the group as we continue here on 3-Man Front, your home for college football and more, Jocks.
It is 12:18 on an unseasonably warm September day. Ready for some football weather.
Still water in the grass.
I know. I was kind of hoping to get out on the zero turn from Artec Tractor this weekend, but I got some bad news to report. Grass ain't growing much. So, I mean, I can't really do anything.
I thought that's the way you liked it. You like going a little dirt track action.
I mean, that was back in the day before I got that, man. But once
Mower
I got the
deck pulled up, Pat's got the racing goggles on.
But man,
his driving gloves.
Once I got the Artec Tractor, man, I want to be out there all the time.
You ought to do something for Halloween for trick-or-treaters on the Artec.
Like what? What do you want me to do?
I don't know. You could be like a mobile trick-or-treat hander-outer.
I thought you were
on
saying
your
like dress up and scare kids on the Artec Tractor.
Even better.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But no, I did miss an opportunity this weekend. I probably could have gotten out there, but Artec Tractor, just north of Jasper on Highway 5. Jeremy and Greg, man, they hooked me up. I wanted to go the route of a zero turn, and I was just I didn't really know a lot about it, to be completely honest, because I've been a push mower guy my whole entire life. Didn't even own a riding lawnmower. It's self-propel. And then I had 2 boys, so I didn't really have to do much. But when I was in the market for it, I called Jeremy and Greg Artec Tractor because of their loyalty to this radio station, because they've been a long-time advertiser. I've heard them for years. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to go to that big box store right down the street from my house. I'm going to call Jeremy. I'm going to call Greg and going to get their thoughts on it. And they sent me in the right direction. I went to artectractor.com. I was looking at a Toro, and that's what I ended up doing. Zero turn Toro. But they've got Cub Cadet, Gravely Bobcat, Spartan, residential or commercial grade. I got the residential. Did not need that heavy commercial grade. But they got more brands and better selection than those big box stores. But also, it's the fact that their team is knowledgeable. The sales department, they're going to advise you on your purchase. And the service department is through the roof. Just service, years of experience. I'm going to have it serviced here in the next week or two. And Artec Tractor, they're going to take care of you just like they took care of me. Large selection of even used heavy equipment. ArtecTractor.com. Go to their website. Check them out just north of Jasper on Highway 5. That is Artec Tractor. Well, yesterday afternoon was Black Sunday afternoon when it came to college football. We had a couple firings. It's pretty interesting because if you look back to last year, the first firing did not take place in college football until week 8. So here we are getting 2 firings on the same day in week 3. What does that mean moving forward? Could be a potential barometer of the volume of coaches that's going to lose their jobs. We'll wait and see. Virginia Tech, they get rid of Brent Pry. He was 16-24, $6 million buyout in Blacksburg. 0-3 this season, including losses to Vanderbilt and Old Dominion. The names are already being circled about. Shane Beamer is the number 1 name on top of the list. I've already seen an article this morning saying unless South Carolina goes south on Beamer, and let's say the season doesn't go well, he is not going to take the Virginia Tech job. But let's just say the criticism is pretty loud. That's a good exit point, perhaps. But I don't think that's going to happen. Michael Vick. Yep, that Michael Vick. He's not Norfolk State. Not a lot of experience as a head coach, but neither did Deion Sanders. And he got his opportunity at a Power 4, so we'll see. Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. Alex Golish at South Florida. Jeff Monken at Army.
Of course.
And I laugh because, I mean, he's on every list every year. Jamie Chadwell at Liberty. Jason Candle at Toledo. Now, those are names coming from the hot boards from the Virginia Tech websites. I'm going to give you a couple other names in a minute, but just keep those filed away. UCLA. You heard it in Molly's Hot and Cold in hour number 1.
It's so easy. Your first phone call from Martin Jarman should be to, we've been talking.
He went 5-10 with a $7 million buyout at UCLA. And if you had any doubt whatsoever how this was going to go, let me take you back to Big Ten Media Days last year.
I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but We're in LA. It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it.
Please understand, that was not edited. Like, we did not fix that to make him look stupid.
If he'd edited it, he would have sounded better.
No, we'd have cleaned it up. You look at this UCLA program, the athletics department has a $200 million deficit over the last 6 years. Don't forget, they are currently paying California $10 million a year in basically an alimony payment because they left them at the altar and make them stay without a conference, and they had to go into the ACC. They're all part of the same university system. So UCLA, every single year, they are writing a check for $10 million to subsidize the University of California's athletic department. Okay? According to the fiscal year 2024 reports, UCLA's total football operating budget was $45.78 million. That is 13th of the 16 public schools in the Big Ten Conference. Because obviously the ones that aren't public schools, we have no idea what their budgets are. So you don't have access to that. There's no NIL pot of gold at UCLA. Nobody cares about football. There's complete fan apathy. If you saw the attendance the other night for their game in which they lost 35-10 to New Mexico, I believe the attendance was announced at 16,000. Actually, 16,000 was how many was in the building. They announced 31,000. They paid New Mexico $1.2 million to play that game and lost. And I just want to point this out. Technically speaking, Nico Iamaleava could enter the transfer portal today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he could go wherever he wants to go. He's got 30 days to do that. Possible names: Florida State DC Tony White, BYU's Kalani Sitake, Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator Tommy Rees.
Yep.
Boise State coach Spencer Danielson, Oregon defensive coordinator Tosh Lapoy. This is an interesting one. Former Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
And here's another interesting one.
Okay.
Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen's interesting too. Heard his name mentioned for that job, I think, before Foster got it. The name, to me, he just looks like everything I think about. Well, some of the things that I think about when I think about UCLA, but he could bring fire. We've been talking about him for other jobs. He wants a job. He could certainly do it, get people fired up, and it's John Gruden.
According to Las Vegas. So I just gave you what the fan boards, the hot boards are saying at both Virginia Tech and UCLA. Now I'm going to tell you what the Vegas odds makers are saying. Now let's take this with a grain of salt, because when Nick Saban stepped down, Greg McElroy was listed as one of the potential head coaching candidates for the Alabama job, if you remember that. Coming in at the best odds right now to 4-1 is John Gruden for UCLA. Coming in at 5-1 odds, Deion Sanders. Kenny Dillingham at 6-1. Justin Wilcox, same university system. He's at California. He's 8-1. Tommy Rees, 10-1. Dave Aranda, 12-1. Same odds as Jimbo Fisher at 12-1. John Summerall, 14-1. Ryan Silverfield, 16-1. Alex Golish, 18-1. Kirk Signetti, 18-1. Brent Key, 20-1. Lane Kiffin, 25-1.
By the way, this is a compliment, but Brent Key, you so do not fit UCLA.
No, not at all. Matt Campbell, 38-1. Rick Neuheisel, 100-1.
Does John Gruden, just the way he looks, his appearance, does he not fit perfectly with what you think about UCLA? I do. Blonde.
Yeah, like
the beach.
Yeah. I'm not going to say like a surfer look.
No.
But no, he has the. Yeah. Retired guy that spends a lot of time on the beach.
Yeah.
So according to Las Vegas, Virginia Tech, John Gruden is the number one odds to make or get the job. He's at 4-1. Shane Beamer's 5-1. Justin Wilcox 6-1. Ryan Silverfield 7-1. Alex Golish 8-1. Will Stein 10-1. Jimbo Fisher 12-1. Charles Huff 14-1. Brian Newberry 16-1. Bob Chesney 18-1. Dave Doran 20-1. Deion Sanders 22-1 odds of becoming the next head coach at Virginia Tech. Lane Kiffin 40-1.
I don't think that one's happening.
Think about who their last hires have been. Chip Kelly, because that was Chip Kelly wanting to come back to college football, right?
Yep.
And he had that choice between. You had Jim Mora, who wanted to take a stab at college football. You kind of see the trend here. And then Rick Neuheisel, the interim, they had a couple of interims. Jed Fish being one of those, and then Mike Johnson also in 2011. But Rick Neuheisel prior to that. I don't think this is that attractive of a job for either someone who is well established. It's not going to be a money move, but you got to really hate your current situation, I would think, to be calling Martin Jarman going, I really want this job.
Yeah.
Now maybe Justin Wilcox does. I think Justin Wilcox could do well there.
Does anybody think Nico will be on that roster next year?
No.
Not a chance.
No, and the problem is there's no NIL pot of gold. The fan apathy, they don't care in Los Angeles. I mean, when USC has things going, I mean, that's the hot program. It's definitely not UCLA. Big Ten competitors, they're way more competitive than UCLA. I mean, it's just not. Landrum and I got to know the athletics director at UCLA, and he is a really good dude. Really, really a cool fella. But I just think that when it comes to certain things in his athletic department, that being football, he just doesn't have what he needs.
Well, no. And it was a mess when he took the job, and he knew that. And he's done his best to try to correct it, whether it be through a apparel contract when that whole thing blew up with Under Armour or anything else. It's tough. And especially to have sustained success there. John Gruden, that would be seems like it would be a perfect fit for both sides.
I mean, for an SEC school to pay $7 million to tell their coach to go home, that's like couch money that you find underneath the cushion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At UCLA, to pay a football coach $7 million to walk away, that's a huge deal. Really a big deal.
I'm surprised we have not seen maybe a Jamie Chadwell or somebody else's name for the Virginia Tech job.
I've seen his name on hot boards, but Vegas.
But he's got a great job at Liberty. Why are you going to leave that?
No, you play golf as many times as you want during the week.
Make $4 million a year. Yep. Play golf.
I just heard like former coaches there. That's all they wanted to do was play golf and work on their handicap.
It's good quality time with the wife, Pat. It's a good way to get out and exercise. Blow off some steam. We continue 3-man front right here on Jocks. 12:35 here on Three Man Front. UCLA looking for a new head coach. Deshaun Foster out. Brent Pry out at Virginia Tech. Hokies looking for their next head coach. 800-239-WJOX here on Reaction Monday. Hugh Freeze, his live press conference from Auburn coming up at 1:30. Also, the Coach Bill Clark at the top of the hour, presented by Donahue Chevrolet, what he thought about this past weekend's games, what he saw across the SEC and America. We'll get back to your text, but first I want to tell you about our friends at Mandu. Mandu is electrical muscle stimulation fitness, and right now they have a great deal for you. You want to feel better, you want to look better, you can do it with Mandu, but it's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. What does that mean? Well, that means that they're going to put you in a suit, they're going to hook you up to a machine that sends electric pulses to various muscle groups. You can tailor make it, whether it's chest, arms, all of the above. Maybe you want to work on the glutes, maybe you want your calves to look better. Maybe you just want to feel better. You can do it with Mandu. Tailor-made programs. Best part about Mandu is they put you in that suit. They hook you up to that machine. It's a 15-minute workout. That's it. 15 minutes. That's all it takes with Mandu. You're going to get results. Call it boutique fitness, in-and-out fitness, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to spend 6 hours in a gym, and that's the equivalent of 15 minutes at Mandu. It's equivalent to 6 hours in a gym. Your first visit is free, and they're going to put you through the workout. If you choose to go into Mandu and see Paul and the gang, tell them Landrum sent you from Jocks. They're going to put you through the workout. You decide. It's free of charge to you in that first visit. But also, if you sign up today, you sign up this week, 10% off your first month's membership. And throughout the life of your membership, you're going to get that 10% off. Mandu in downtown Homewood, MANDUU.com. Tell Paul and the gang that Landrum from Jocks sent you.
So we're just talking about coaches who lost their job over the weekend. And we're just talking about some of the Vegas odds of guys that potentially could replace those that got fired. Well, Vegas also has a list of potential coaches that are going to get fired next. I think it goes without saying that Billy Napier, number one on the list, right?
Yeah.
Coming in at number 2, Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati, most likely to be fired next. Followed by Tony Elliott at Virginia. Brent Brennan at Arizona, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. Kalen DeBoer is next on that list at plus 900. So he is the 5th most likely next coach to be fired in college football. Would you like to take a little flyer on that one and place you a little wager?
I think his job security is in a pretty good spot right now.
He and Sam Pittman have the exact same odds.
That's comical.
Luke Fickell is next, followed by Mark Stoops, David Braun at Northwestern, Mike Loxley at Maryland, Dave Aranda at Baylor, and Bill Belichick at North Carolina.
So it's more likely that Kalen DeBoer gets fired than Luke Fickell gets fired.
As of this moment, if you would like to place a wager in Las Vegas, yes.
Okay. I know which one I'd be putting money on.
Well, it's passion-based. Passion of the fan base.
That's right.
Wisconsin fans have already turned their attention to basketball and wrestling. I don't know if they have a wrestling team. I just assumed everybody in the Big Ten except for the West Coast schools did.
Yeah, and they're good at it, so yeah, I'm sure they're good at wrestling.
Did you see Deion Sanders, how ticked off he was after Friday night's game?
I did not, but they played like poo-poo.
And he expressed that to his team in the locker room.
You mean the third-string quarterback wasn't the answer?
And to the wonderful media. But Connor Wegman, remember that name, threw for 222 yards, ran for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So big weekend for former Texas A&M quarterbacks, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Cougars now 3-0.
Wait, how'd Calzada do?
Well, he was on the bench.
Yeah,
he's hurt. Yeah. Buffaloes are now 1-2.
Look, I still like Deion. This is not a shot at him per se, but it's almost like, wow, you had 2 uber talented kids on your roster last year who are now playing in the NFL and they're gone. And
I blame the NFL. You rated that roster.
Maybe would have been a good idea to recruit and have some players develop over the last couple of years because you knew this day was coming. And
but
I still like Deion. Think he's a good coach, but we knew this was coming.
Yeah, but to be fair, Conrad, as long as he's been there and recruiting these days and being able to count on those guys, unless they're going to come in and play immediately,
Fair.
But it's something. Your defense and what you just said, it's something that you have to realize it's going to happen. So you either have to get really, really hot in the transfer portal and land some of those guys, or you're going to have to hope that the third string quarterback plays his tail off, and doesn't look like that's happening.
Well, and it doesn't help when you're spending a lot of money on that quarterback room because you paid a lot of money for Julian Lewis out of high school, which is one kid you did recruit. He's not playing, and you paid a lot of money for Salter out of the portal, and neither of them are playing. And that's a lot of money that could have gone to other positions if you're going to ultimately end up with your third string quarterback.
So a lot of impressive wins over the weekend. It was kind of a barometer, kind of the first salvo, I should say, in regards to the SEC teams, maybe some pretenders, teams that we think is going to be there in the long run, Molly. And we asked which one impressed our audience the most.
Yeah, so we gave you 3 options. Was it Vanderbilt's win, Georgia over Tennessee, or Texas A&M? And right now, almost 61% of the votes going towards Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
About 29 to Texas A&M and only 10%.
For Vandy to win that game, and I understand that Sellers got knocked out, but for Vandy to win that game after losing how many straight?
16.
You go on the road. Everybody knows it's a big game. It's not like, oh, my gosh, Vanderbilt snuck in here at 11 a.m. and we weren't ready and blah, 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 blah. No, it's none of that. You know it's a big game. You know Diego Pavia is calling his shot. And for them to beat you 31-7, and I firmly believe that Lenora Sellers healthy for that game for 4 quarters, Vanderbilt was going to win that game. I think you guys did too.
Sellers was not good before he got hurt.
No.
They were not. Their offense was not playing well.
But Vanderbilt, to me, that was the biggest takeaway. That was impressive.
Diego Pavia records his 14th win as an underdog. That is tied for most in the last 20 years.
That's an awesome stat.
14th win as an underdog. This is the Commodores' first 3-0 start since 2017. And they opened the season with 3 straight 20-point wins. That's the first time that has happened in Vanderbilt football since 1930.
Well, I'll go ahead and throw this out there. I'm not seeing this team play a lick. Shout out to the Panthers. But I would fade the crap out of them this weekend against Georgia State. What was that early line, 27.5?
I believe that is correct.
Well, and that's the team that beat Vanderbilt last year, right?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Yep. I don't think that's going to happen again this year, but
yeah, it's 27.
They're gonna have a letdown at some point. Everybody does.
For the life of me, I cannot remember who the coach at Georgia State is.
Yeah, especially after what's his name left?
Elliott.
Yeah, Sean Elliott. What's his name?
Yeah, he's at South Carolina now, isn't he?
Didn't he leave right in the middle of spring practice like a year ago?
Oh, is it Dell McGee?
He's the head coach now for Georgia State, right?
Yeah, he is. It is Dell McGee. Should have known that.
But Elliott left.
Elliott left to be an assistant for Shane Beamer at South Carolina.
But he left like 2 weeks before their spring game.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were just like, oh, well, no spring game. We don't have a coach. Funny how that works.
Oh, wow. Hugh Jackson is their offensive coordinator.
Wow. I did not know that.
Damian Craig is their wide receivers coach. Enrique Davis, their running backs coach. Golly, Dell went and got him a bunch of names, very familiar names.
I got a feeling that a lot of those dudes were living in Atlanta, and they said, hey, what are you doing on Saturdays? Come hang out. Get you a paycheck.
Yeah. Some of these guys could still play. Some of these names, at least from a recruiting prowess, it's going to get you in the door. You're going to have a conversation. Now, maybe when it's revealed that your NIL
is non-existent.
Well, I was going to say non-existent. It pales in comparison to some of these other schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a little bit nicer
You're
than
probably
I am.
going to need to really turn on the charm at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
And start doing stupid human tricks. But, yeah.
Yeah, got to do it. All right, you need to call Goldston Tree Service for all your tree needs around your house, 205-337-4443. Your trusted local experts in fast, affordable, professional tree removal trimming, and cleanup. They're licensed, insured, ready to handle any job, big or small. Call Golston Tree Service today. Don't forget about that 24-hour emergency tree service at 205-337-4443. When it comes to your trees, don't risk it. Call Golston Tree Service. That number again, 205-337-4443.
Somebody texting in that Nico should go to Colorado. I don't think Nico's dad could handle.
That's a bunch of bull junk. That ain't happening.
He'd get told real quick. If there's any daddy ball going on, there's one daddy in this program, and it ain't you. We continue. Reaction Monday here on 3-Man Front. Coach Bill Clark at the top of the hour. Text line is open 205-834-9450. A lot of reaction to Florida LSU. Let's just be honest. Most of the games in the SEC and then what happened nationally, whether it's Texas A&M, a team from the SEC going to South Bend, and winning that in dramatic fashion over Notre Dame, who now has 2 losses on this young season. Florida putting up 10 points. DJ Lagway, 5 interceptions. They're inside the real Death Valley in Baton Rouge. Brian Kelly, hot under the collar. He didn't like comments or a question that was asked to lead off his press conference after the 20-10 win. That takes us to the text line. And texting in is our good friend Drake, who is a diehard Gators fan. He says, guys, is Napier done at Florida? It would appear so, based on the rest of that absolutely brutal schedule. let's go through it quickly.
Hey, and to be fair, there was a point last year, remember, where we said going into this week, Florida's going to fire Billy Napier, right? They didn't fire him, and then they ended up going on a pretty good winning streak.
They're at Miami this weekend. I'll say loss. October 4th at home versus Texas. I think Florida's actually got a decent shot of winning that game.
That might be a really ugly game to watch.
Yes. I'm thinking under right now.
Yeah, good play.
But 17-14?
We might have a Big Ten type of line, like a 39.5 over-under for that game.
I hope we do. At Texas A&M, I think that's a problem. Versus Mississippi State, not going to rule out Levy and the kids. Versus Georgia. At Kentucky looks like the most solid, I think you win that game left on your schedule right now, November 8th. At Ole Miss, not loving that. Versus Tennessee at home, no. And then Florida State to end the season. Do they let him traverse through a losing season, make the decision at the end, or do you tap somebody to be your interim, Pat?
I would think they would go interim. That way they can let everybody know that, hey, our job is open and they can start the legwork.
Well, and I think part of it, too, was last year, right? You wanted to keep on Napier because you were worried about DJ Lagway potentially leaving. But
does that matter now?
I was about to say, if he keeps playing like this, you're not worried about that. So
all of your hopes, all of my hopes that I had in Florida, whatever those were, potentially maybe 9-3 if everything went well, 8-4. But it rested on DJ Lagway.
100%. And he has regressed.
And my question was, are we going to see him finish healthy? I saw him being sidelined at some point with some kind of injury, but so far it's just been not really what we expected from DJ Lagway. For me, anyways.
Really bad decision-making, really hard time reading defenses right now for him.
4-8 is very possible. So maybe you get what I anyways assumed that Florida would have heading into last season, where they were staring 5-7 at best, maybe dead in the face. No, I think I said 6-6, best case. But maybe we get that this season with higher expectations going in.
Yeah. And if you go 4-8, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that Billy Napier he'll be gone.
Richard says no team left on Alabama's schedule should scare them. They can only lose to themselves each week. Emoji.
I disagree with that.
Chin rubbing.
I would say actually the opposite. I think everybody besides Eastern Illinois, if you're Alabama, you need to be prepared to bring your A game to that matchup.
The problem with Colorado is they live and die by the portal just like FSU, hit or miss. I'm going to defend Deion again. He had no choice but to go portal. And I think he probably still has not much of a choice to go portal. With the amount of dollars and commitment that Colorado has given, I don't think he has time to develop a whole bunch of underclassmen. By the way, I don't think anybody really has that luxury anymore unless you're a service academy.
It's fair.
It's not just Deion. Brandon says, call me crazy, but I think Florida beats Miami. Okay. Not going to call you crazy. Anything's happened. Couldn't happen. But if that would help Billy Napier to keep his job, it'd knock off Miami. Whew. Will says, UCLA made me think of this over the past 25 years or so. Who has been consistently a good team with a stadium that is off campus? I figured y'all could think through that better than I could.
Consistently good with a stadium off campus.
Would you consider USC in the Coliseum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
And Molly, how close is the campus to the Coliseum?
I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, we walked. It was like across the street, kind of. I don't remember it being far.
That's tough. That's a good question.
Memphis' stadium, that's technically on their campus?
Oh, no.
Just the signage and everything leading up to it made me think that. But, yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's just like you can't say protective is UAB.
No, that's fair. So Memphis?